What's going on, everybody? This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D, back again. Man, just looking forward to sharing some information I think that'll be helpful. I tell people all the time I have the greatest job in the world. I get the chance to wake up every day and motivate and inspire people. But I think it's important to understand it's not just motivation and inspiration. We also get the beauty of have the honor of sharing strategies and insight. I want to share a quote with you that I've shared frequently from the stage. I haven't said it much since I've been on this virtual platform. Good morning, Patricia. Good to see you. And thanks for joining us and being a part of this. I appreciate all of you who take the time to do this. We literally have thousands, from what I know, who come on and we do this and increase in influence. But there's a quote I used to share all the time, and that is motivation without information is simply a good conversation. I'm going to type that in. All right. Motivation. Something like what? Without information. All right, I don't know. Without, it's not spelled right. Without information is simply a good conversation. There we go. I think I spelled that wrong. It's simply. Sorry about that. Simply. And so it's important to understand, that we need to have strategies in order to advance that which we're trying to do, be it in workforce development, be it in corporate, be it in racial equity and in diversity, some of the areas we interact in quite frequently. And if you don't have the strategies, the motivation, I guess the best way to describe it is like this. The motivation is the fuel and strategy is the vehicle, okay? So you need the fuel to drive the car, but you need the car for the fuel to be relevant. Other words, it's just fuel. And fuel that's just fuel is irrelevant. It's just there. If you put a little fire on it, it's going to blow up, conflagration. You're going to have all kinds of problems. So, we got to have strategy. So when you see me do my thing, I'm not like a lot of folks who just hyping everybody up and getting everybody amped. And trust me, I've done that thousands of times on thousands of stages, got people motivated. But the reality is, I realized that in order to do the things we set out to do, you see, it takes strategy. All right. And so before I talk about this vagal system and vagus nerve, and I want to talk about that in just a moment, I also want to share something with you because we're going to be talking about, and thank you, those who have typed in your name and where you're from. If you're here, type in where you are from, where you're from. Always nice to know who's watching these. Okay. And even people I haven't seen in years, don't be hiding. You get behind there, coach, I'm looking at you, but I ain't going to let you know. Stop that hiding. Let me know, man. Some of you out there I haven't seen in years. I would love to see your names pop up in here. And so, your family, we love you. And so I just want to also say this, and this is another quote, because we're going to talking about this minimization of stress, which is huge nowadays because people are challenged right now. There's a lot of, what I mean? Hey, TC, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. As always, thank you for jumping on board. And, I just want to share this because we live in a day and age where stress is really, really a problem. I mean, the stress of trying to balance home and school with our kids and the stress of trying to maneuver, even though we're saying everybody's all excited about these vaccines, but a lot of people still virtual, there's a lot of stress. The problem with that is, and I'm sharing this with you, but I had to learn myself because I'm human just like everyone else. You see I'm saying, hey, Cheryl, nice to meet you. Northern Illinois, good to have you on board. Sherelle, thank you. So here's the thing, is that we need to be conscious, and this is so important, of a few things in our lives. And one is, how are people, all right, hey, Wendy, welcome on board. How am I responding to what people are saying to me? Now, I'm going to tell you why that's important. Because here's the deal. Most stress that we experience, it has something to do with the things that are going on in our lives, as far as the activities and all that. But sometimes it's other people that gives us stress. And say, well, I was in church, I say, can I get a witness? It is truly some people, and if you agree with me, type in the chat feature, I agree. Some people just stress us out. And here's the crazy thing. Sometimes they don't know they're stressing you out. It could be their personality style. It could be their attitude. It could be their disposition. Come on, y'all, help me out. Don't make me think I'm the only one saying that experiences this. It's like, why does this person, thank you for the big agree, Lily. Somebody hears me. I mean, like you can have 50 people that you're just cool with, man, and you're interacting with and you're enjoying them. Then you got one or two people that, them folk drive me crazy. And the sad part is, thank you. When Wendy said, oh my God, I agree. Thank you, Cindy. I mean, they just, and you're like, oh, this person or these people, what is it? And like I said, a lot of times they don't even know that they're stressing you to the max. And so I'm gonna give you a little quote to think about. Now, this is not going to erase somebody getting on your nerves, right? But it's something that gives you a little power. Okay, just a little power for you. And it's a quote that I've learned to live by. I haven't mastered. I've learned to live by it, but it's a work in progress for me too. And that is this: I am in control of who opinion counts. That's a cool little quote right there, right? I am in control of who opinion counts. And reason why I say that is we're going to be talking about this stress thing here for a moment. Now, I'm not a stress expert. What I do is the stuff I'm sharing aligns with my work of, in workforce development and, even some of the things we do in corporate and some of the things we do with equity and diversity. So it's to help people better balance themselves and gain insights to be able to excel in those arenas. Okay. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. In those arenas. And so what I'm sharing with you, like when I say these things, I want you to get it so that you can be, thank you, Cece. It's right. I am in control of who opinion counts, because stress often comes from other people. The way they communicate, the way they interact, their styles, their personalities. And some people, especially people who are more on the empathetic side, all right, there's a word, I don't want to get weird because I'm not talking about all this weird stuff called empaths. People who have that kind of personality, and I'm one of them. The reality is you got to be careful and you got to guard your gates. Pierre Campbell talks about that all the time. You've got to guard your gates because some people don't feel nothing. I mean, they can rip through an organization, rip through a department, rip through a home, rip through anything, and they don't feel nothing. There's no emotional reaction to anything for some people. And some people, this is what I'm talking about. These are typically the ones who are stressed out the most. Some people feel everything. They feel mood, they feel disposition, they feel attitude. And let me tell you something, that's a tough way to live, but it's also a gift to society because people who possess those skill sets are compassionate. But the problem is in their desire to be compassionate, they drain themselves. And so you got to be careful. All right. This is important, in particular when you're in the people business or you're interacting with people. You got to be careful, in particular if you're more on that empathetic side, to protect yourself. And what we're going to be talking about today is going to be helpful. All right. Because it's interesting how we're wired as people, and those know me know I'm a Christian. So I always say how God wired us. And I'm just being honest. This is why I am who I am. And in reality, we're just wired. All right. With all these different things inside of us in such a beautiful way. It's really interesting when you study brain functionality and, you look at all these different things and, just the way our bodies are designed and analyzed, the way certain organs function and they work with each other and how the brain is the epicenter. You start to realize you got a dynamic thing that you're living in every day. But you also need to understand that thing that you're living in every day. Because the reality is, the health of this body and the health of our mind, which gives us the ability to do all the neat things that we do, really is contingent upon what we do and what we think and what we perceive. So I said made that statement, and Cece, thank you for typing it in. I am in control of who opinion counts. Because if you're going to succeed in your business, if you're going to succeed in your workforce development initiatives, if you're going to succeed in your corporate initiative, if you're going to succeed working with youth or students, or if you're going to succeed at being a parent or anything else, all right, you have got to have a sense of control when it comes to understanding the functions of your mind and brain and all of that, because your body, what happens is situations drive us into certain ways of thinking, which in turn has a reaction internally. It could be good or bad, depending. So, like this morning, I went to the gym and I've changed my workout. I'm doing more on weights more. I was doing a lot of cardiovascular, but I read recently, as you age, you need to do weights more. So I was in there, coach was ripping it, pumping them, still working those arms. Say, I'm going to be a lean, mean, buff machine here soon. But the reality is I felt good, man, on my endorphins and, all that stuff was just moving and popping, And so, and my endocrine system was going strong. So why? Because I felt good. And so I'm going to talk just for a few moments about stress, which is one of the things that attacks our ability to function. Or we may have a level of success in our lives and still, but internally we're just messed up. I've consulted a lot of organizations where I watch the dynamics of the leaders within the organization. And I'll do things like people don't realize. When you consult me, I always make it a requirement that people understand you got to be able to accept what I got to say, because what I'm going to say is going to be beneficial to you. But I've had situations where I've been in rooms with people that want me to consult on, let's say, equity or something like that, or, team building. And I say to them, after I realize the dynamics of what I'm seeing in that relationship, what I do is I give them an instruction. I say, you all shouldn't even think about moving over to here until you get this one thing right. You don't know how to communicate with each other. I can see it in your body language. I can see it in the way that you communicate with one another. And how are you going to try to build something else when the foundation is all jacked up? Try that for Iron or consulting, right? You're supposed to be in there talking about team building. No, I'm in here to tell you that team building don't mean nothing if you can't communicate with people. We'll do all this work and all this training and all of this, and you're going to go right back to what you've always done. Yeah, I just said that. You see, so a real consultant is not just concerned about getting the check and going home. A real consultant is about how do we create real systems that's going to foster change in our organizations and innovation in our organizations and to our lives personally. So thank you. Yeah, Gwen, I appreciate that. Real talk. And so some people don't like it because they just want you to do what they tell you. We brought you in here to talk about so-and-so. And like, yeah, well, you're going to pay me and I'm going to go home. You're going to go right back to what you were always doing because you haven't fixed this yet. There's something before this that you need to fix before we can get to this. And so, but a lot of times we get a chance to do all that up front and deal with, that's why I like working with leaders first when we do the consultings, the longer term consultings, because some people want, like for instance, with equity, come in and train my entire staff. I said, for what? So at the end of it, you can say, check off the box. I trained them, but you don't train anything when it comes to equity. No, it's a process. It's a system. And you need to have conversations and real world conversations and talk to people like a human, and on both sides of the fence. There's a whole bunch connected to this. So we're gonna, all know what stress is, but I want to take a moment and talk about this thing called the vagus nerves, because it's so important to understand the mental and chemical breakdown of our lives and all that's going on inside our bodies that trigger certain things. And so there's sort of a stabilizing nerve that we have in our neck that goes all the way from our brainstem down to our colon. Okay. It's called the vagus nerve. Now, I only know this because a genius that was on the board of trustees of mine was sharing something about this. A good friend named Bob Moore. And I said, man, this is really interesting. So I started last night. I was researching it. And I said, I want to talk to folks about this. And so Bob did a phenomenal job. He's a psychologist, and so he studies this stuff extensively. We're on this board of this organization called Sandy Cove in Maryland, and he was talking about it yesterday. I said, man, that's deep. That's deep. I want to share it with my peeps as well. And so the vagus nerves represents the main component of the parasympathetic nervous system. All right, the parasympathetic nervous system, which oversees a vast array of bodily functions, including the control of including control of mood, immune response, digestion, and heart rate. Think about that. Mood, immune response, digestion, and heart rate. All the things that we feel a lot during stress. Our heart rate kicks up. Our immune system gets weak. Our digestive system is all over the place. Stomach flaring up, and mood don't want to talk to nobody. all the things you sense when you're stressed. Let me read this again if you're a note taker, because I don't have this up on the slide. So the vagus nerve represents a main component of the parasympathetic. Why am I having a hard time with this word? Parasympathetic nervous system, which oversees a vast array of crucial body functions, including control of mood. Control of mood. Think about that. Notice what it said. Control of mood, which tells us, guess what? We control our moods. Circumstances and situations should not, which let me be careful, because I understand it's easier said than done. In particular, when you're with people all the time, be it that you're in the workplace or you're at home. It's not like people you see once every 10 years. It's like you get people around you all the time. And you're constantly having to deal with the same thing over and over and over again. So we said, if that's our story, if that's the case, then guess what we have to do? We have to understand our psychological makeup, and how do we handle that? How do we find peace in the midst of it? If the person or the situation doesn't change, how do we find peace? So it says, including control of mood, control of immune response. Man, this is radical when you think about it. Control of digestion. Okay. And heart rate. Let me tell you something. This is powerful stuff. And if you understand this, you're going to find that your life is going to be so much better. Your work will be so much better. All right. I'm saying this to you and me at the same time, because I haven't mastered all of this stuff, but I'm getting better at a lot of it because I study it. Okay. I study it. Okay. And so, when we were talking yesterday, we were talking about, again, my friend Bob was sharing with someone. I don't want to mention everyone's names because they're not giving me the approval to do this, but with some ways that this person who's in a major leadership position can reduce the stress in their lives through understanding this vagus nerve and this vagal system. And there's 4 things that you have to ask yourself, and write these questions down, okay? Write these questions down. Here's number 1. Who helps you to relax? Who helps you to relax? Who's that person, man? It could be anybody, your dear friend. It could be your grandma. Oh, that's why I'm telling my grandparent. I have one that's still around. She's 95. We talk every week, and every time I talk to her, I just like, yeah, man. Now, what's interesting, when she was younger, she was really feisty. She was feisty. But as she aged, she became so calm and so docile. Now we just have this nice conversation. So she is one of my people. My other grandmother passed many, many years ago, and she was the calmest person on the planet. And I just love talking to her. She was so peaceful. I have friends now in my life. One of my friends, some of you have had the chance to meet. One is Rachel Revel. Many of you know Rachel. She comes on these every now and then. She's so busy these days, but we talk. And then guess what? Cool, calm. You see? And so you need people in your life. Okay? People in your life. And you need to ask that question, because if you can't answer one person on who helps you to relax, that's not a healthy place to be. You got to have at least one person. You see? And so that's a question. Who helps you to relax? All right. The second question that was mentioned was who helps you to recharge? Who helps you? Yeah, she is. Yeah. Who is CC? Who helps you to recharge? All right. Who helps you to relax and recharge? These are 2 questions in one. All right. Who helps you to relax, or who helps you to recharge? All right. Because yeah, and she does, and she's a very good. I've known Rachel for 2 decades. And that's the kind of see, that's a person. Now she's a for those you don't know, she's a time management and efficiency expert, and she's really good too. So if you're looking for someone to train on that, definitely look up Rachel. All right. Reach out to me at coachdspeaks.com. And I'll tell you, that is somebody you want to definitely, you know, yeah. And so, and so reach out to me because how am I typing? I'm messing up my typing too fast. All right. That's my website, Coach D Speaks, and I can connect you to her. So, but thank you, Dr. Rochelle. I saw what you said. You know, there's a dad helps me relax, and your cousin helps you to recharge. Thank you, Lily, for typing that in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So it helps you to relax, it helps you to recharge. Um, 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 Another question is, where do you recharge? Is there a place that you can? Is there a place where you can go if it's not a person? Like for me, it's the gym. Where can you recharge? Like, is there a place to go? Like, I go to the gym, man. That's on. I'm pumping that still. I'm running. Even at my age, I'm still. Man, I got many good years. I had a friend, like I mentioned, who's like bodybuilder model type, and he's he's up there in age, man. But you wouldn't know it looking at him because why? He works out all the time. So for me, that's a place, and I do that every morning, except for weekends. Except some Saturdays, I go and run 4 or 5 miles. I like running on the treadmill, and then when it gets warm, I'll run outside every Saturday. All right. So where do you go? Like another place? Oh, this is my spot. I mean, if you're out here and you're hearing me, tell me if this is your spot too. I love. There you go. Okay, prayer and meditation. Okay, good. There you go, Dr. Rochelle. I do too. I do prayer and meditation as well. But this is where sometimes I do that. Beachfront, lakefront, doesn't matter. All I need to see is water. Man, I'm telling you, you want to see Coach D with a smile on his face and in a happy place? Oh my goodness. See me just sitting on the beach on a not too hot day, because I don't like when it's too hot. When it's like 80, 85, right around that range, man, the sun is not baking you. I can sit there all day long, read some books. You have a little snack here and there. Yeah, the ocean. Oh my goodness. And I love all of them. Like I love the Atlantic, but I love the Pacific. Like the Pacific, I always say, is a more aggressive ocean. Like when you go out there, anybody that's ever been there, it ain't like the Atlantic. Them waves are compounded. Boom. You gotta be careful swimming in the Pacific. Yeah. The Atlantic is calm. Yeah, there you go. Williamsburg, Virginia. Yeah, Williamsburg, Virginia. Yeah. One of my mentors moved down there. Yeah. And so the reality is, what's your spot? And sometimes, you know what else? Another spot for me? I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the old quaint towns. Like we haven't done this in a while. We gotta get back to doing it. But we used to go up to Martha's Vineyard. And when you go to Martha's Vineyard, one thing you can do is you can rent bikes. It's so small, you can ride around the island. And so they got little towns like Eggerstown and Woods Hole. You literally, in like 2 hours, you can ride your bike all the way around, then back to Martha's Vineyard. Oh, that place is heaven on earth to me. Nice day, pack you up a lunch, get some bikes, and just ride, stop in Eggertown. If you don't want to pack up lunch, you can buy some lunch in one of the little quaint restaurants. They got the little shops with artwork. I'm telling you, that's me right there. Man, you know what I mean? I love that kind of stuff, man. Come on, type in some of your stuff. Dr. Rochelle mentioned to come. Want to hear where's your happy place, man? What do you love to do? Like, you know what I mean? I'm actually looking at getting a place down near Orlando because I like that. It's nice and warm, and they got all these nice activities around there. And you wake up in the morning, you're outside, you got the palm trees and the sun. This place that we're looking at, man, they got like a lazy river and a pool, and I'm like, yeah, man. Wake up in the morning, I'm gonna write a whole lot of books here, and I'm gonna create a whole bunch of motivational videos here. Why? Because it's my spot. Love stuff like that. You see? And so I'm just trying to say to you, what's yours? You see what I'm saying? What's yours? Like, and so where did you, so well, actually, it says who help you to relax, but they also is and I kind of already said, yeah, grandma's house. There it is, the mountains, the country. And we kind of talked about this. So I don't know if I want to add this as another question, but We talk about who helps you to relax. All right. But it was another game that goes back. Where's another place to relax? So we kind of did that. We talking about recharge, but sometimes relaxing is a little different. From recharging. Recharging is just basically I'm getting energy. Relaxing. Sometimes I ain't doing nothing. I'm just chilling. You know, one place I like to relax is a cabin in the mountains. You know, good thing with Airbnb, you can rent places everywhere. And those places are reasonable. You know what I mean? So I remember a few years ago, we rented a place in the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. Nice cabin. Now, one thing that would cause a little stress, they had bears up in them there mountains. They had bears up in them there mountains, and they would tell us, don't leave your trash outside because, you know, Smokey may come and visit you. And Smokey did come visit us even one time we didn't have trash outside. And of course, as the dad, they said, Dad, you got that? I said, no, we're going to stay right up here in the house. Because Smokey did not taking me out of here. But boy, being up in there and, oh, man, putting some logs in there. Oh, it was just peaceful. Peaceful. Didn't do nothing for like a week straight. Nothing. Read some books, chilled, watched some TV. And at the end of that week was so recharged. Good morning, Letitia. Good to see you. Let me tell y'all something. You know, it's the reality of the matter is you need to have your places to recharge. You need to have those people who help you recharge. You need to have people who can help you to relax. Who helps you to relax? Because if you're going to minimize stress, these things have to be constant and free. One of the things I think that's kept me going for years and years and years, and I think that's kind of kept me relatively healthy, is I've never allowed myself to be overwhelmed by the pressures of life. You know, there's things I want to do. There's things I haven't done yet. You know, be honest with you, there's a lot of things I haven't done yet, but there's a lot of things I have. You know, life is not perfect, and you're going to have people that's going to drive you crazy, and some people that's going to make your life just a true joy every day. But I've never been overwhelmed by all of this. I just take it a day at a time, and I'm learn to breathe and enjoy the beauties, just little small things in life. You know, I have 4 beautiful children, and I tell you, it's just so nice to be able to hug them and let them know I love them. And my daughter's in college, and she's home now for break, but once a month I go down with her and have a daddy-daughter date. You know, we just go down and just have a date with her. You know, she's in school in Washington, and man, we just sit and talk. When my son was in Florida in college, go down there, spend a week with him, get a hotel room, hang out with him. My youngest son is on his way to Virginia Military Institute or the Citadel. And just, you know, he and I go to the gym every morning. I've told him today we're going to I'm buying them some golf clubs. We're going to learn how to play golf together. All my children. I want to learn. That's a dream I have as a dad. I want us to get together, have golf outings, you know, maybe once a year as they all move on. Because I'm not a big golfer, but it's fun to me. I like to go out and try. I'm not real good at it, but so I'm just saying these are the things that keep peace and joy. You know, it's life. And I'm going to leave you with this one little extra regarding what the experts say is a way to strengthen this vagal nerve. All right. And believe me, you want this nerve functioning, because keep in mind, it goes from your brainstem. It's the longest nerve all the way down to your colon. So chances are when somebody getting on your nerves, that's the one they getting on. I'm sorry, y'all got to throw stuff like that every now and then. That big long one, you know. So now you got a new nerve that you know about. You can tell somebody you are getting on my vagal. You're getting on my vagus nerve. Like, what in the world is she talking about? What are you talking about? You are getting on my vagal nerve, right? So anyway, those of you who know me, I got to throw a little bit of humor in there every now and then. So here's a few things to think about that helps. One thing it says is alternate nostril breathing. In one nose, out the other, back and forth. That's the one thing of strengthening it and calming, okay? All right. Apply cold compress to your face and the back of your neck every now and then. All right, just kind of calm down, cool yourself down. All right. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. Be quiet. Be quiet. Sometimes we get frustrated because we're thinking too much. Get into a calm place and take it easy. It could be at work. It could be interacting with people. I said, if we can learn how to regulate ourselves a little bit better, then we'll be in a much better situation to be effective in what we do. But we don't know how to regulate ourselves because people haven't taught us. Very few people talk about this vagus nerve. Compliment a deep, briefly, and slowly. I do that one regularly. In, out, in, out. Compliment others. All right. Find reasons, ways to show respect to other people. Compliment others. Connect with nature. We talked about that already. Going out to the ocean, going to the forest. I like that as well. We go camping. Love to camp. Get out there and do things like that. All right. It says here diaphragmatic reading, other with your diaphragm breathing. The slower, go down into your diaphragm and better. And here's the one we all got to pray about: eat whole foods. Other words, change our diets a little bit. Stop allowing so much sugar to get in there, because sugar is one of the big ones that causes us to have all kinds of ups and downs in our emotions and things of that nature. So today is a little different than what I normally do, but I hope this information was helpful. I like when I learn things, because I just learned this from one of my fellow board members. I said, that's a great subject to discuss. And because, we're in a day and age where a lot's going on, a lot of changes that are taking place. We're interacting with this person and that person. We're trying to get people to shift ways of seeing things and doing things. And so, we got to focus on self to be effective to help others. All right. I'm going to type that in. We have got to focus on self in order to help others. See, and so part of it, we talk about self-help a lot, but we also need to talk about understanding the way we're wired. Start looking this stuff up. Look at cognitive help. It's nice to know this stuff. It's nice to know how my body is wired, and so that I can make adjustments in order to be effective at what we do. Like we're doing again this DEI, and I'm our sliver of the pie is equity. And people are like, how do you have those calming conversations with people? We call them equity journeys and equity conversations. You're not challenging and debating people, and you're just basically putting information out there and allowing people to come to conclusions for themselves. I said, you know what? You can't beat nobody into changing themselves. If I get up there and I start saying you this and you that and that, that's why all of our programs have been successful. We got folks coming together and brainstorming and analyzing this thing and having conversations that they never had before. I got people thanking me that said, I never thought this way. Caucasians, African Americans, Asians across the board. Never thought this way before. Why? Because here's the thing. I'm going in there from a position of self-control. And I know the outcomes that I want for this, for the people that are there. We're better off and we're stronger. And keep in mind, at 12 o'clock on Thursdays, we're doing a complete segment on equity. So keep that in mind as a lunch and learn. But people want to listen to this. I've had several people to say to me, I didn't understand all of this, coach. I was raised in a world where I didn't even know any black people. And now you got me thinking about this stuff and thinking about what was taught and thinking about going back home and talking to their kids. Why? Because we're having a conversation. If you're calm and hey, Equus, how are you doing there? I think that may be Jenny. I'm telling you, people want to hear what you got to say. If you beat them down, they don't. But that comes from a position of self-control, which means a sense of awareness of who I am. My friends, that is the best leadership. Leaders that are out of control, got to storm, got to holler. I always say, I always tell them, stop drinking the coffee, get the sugar out your system, because you ain't leading, you dictating. You may get a few things done, but you're going to stress everybody out. They're going to be wore out. There's a more effective way to get things done, and self-control is one of them. I'm not trying to do a leadership training. That take me down another rabbit trail. This is for us. Pull it back in, D. You're about to go another direction. Stay right where you are. And so here's the thing. You got this thing called the vagus nerve, all right? And we have to understand that this nerve, all right, is connected from our brain stem all the way down to our colon, and it affects our digestion, it affects our moods, and we want that nerve to be stimulated in a positive way. You see what I'm saying? Hey, how you doing there? It's good to see you. Not sure exactly what is Equus, but we do a lot of work with Equus. So especially down in Dallas and other places in the country, and we at Phoenix. And so good. Thank you for joining us. We're about to wrap this up. Please keep in mind, once I'm done, you know what I mean? Once I'm done, this video is available. So please share these videos with other people. Share them with your fellow staff members. Share them with your family members. And, you know, and, and use this information. Like, you know, people like me who put time into this stuff, we benefit when people, you know, people apply this stuff and tell us how they apply it. So I'm gonna put my email in here. Yeah, I do. That's right. It is a fruit of the spirit. Absolutely, I agree with you on that wholeheartedly. But it can be a fruit of the spirit that goes rotten if we don't do nothing with it. Jenny, I say that because a lot of times I have my fellow saints that we good at sharing words, man, but we don't apply them. You know, we gotta live what we say. You know what I'm saying? We gotta live it, man. We can't just tell people this stuff. We gotta show it. You know, I had a conversation yesterday with some folks. I said, you know, the reality is, it sounds good in theory, but people only respond to what they see, not what they hear. Not what they hear. And too many people, and this is not any indictment on what just was said, but the reality is, I rather show it than say it. I'd rather show it than say it, because the reality is we say too much and we don't show enough. So if we're gonna, you know, but the showing a lot of times is a byproduct of what we feel about ourselves internally. I can't give you what I don't got. If I'm mean and cantankerous, I can't give you joy and happiness, because mean and cantankerous is who I am. I need to be able to pivot a little bit from that mean and cantankerous and show compassion for other people, you know. And so we need to have some sense of self-control, and hopefully this information today will help with that. So again, share this information with people. Share our website with other people as far as what we do. Our business is 100% when people share with others, referral based. And so, but this is a good piece of information. So don't just listen to this and go on about business. Look at it again, share the information. We talked about some stuff that's more on the internal and psychological side today that could be beneficial in reduction of stress. So thank you so much, and take